It's going to be kind of a short one, then I'm going to do another one. Let me see, where is my notes? I got to tell you today that the prophetic is a means, not an end. A lot of us, hey there, Warrior Beverly, a lot of us in the world of prophetic ministry, we act like it's all about prophecy. Everything's prophecy. Everything's about prophecy. And even then, we have such a narrow definition of what prophecy is, such a narrow definition of what prophetic ministry is. It's like we were saying last night, that so many times we take a biblical paradigm, superimpose our perception on it. Hey there, Discovery, welcome to the broadcast. We superimpose our perception on a biblical paradigm, and then we reduce it to only being our perception. And then we think that encapsulates all that it is. If you look at prophetic ministry, that's certainly true. Let me take a drink here. There's a lot of people who think prophetic ministry is just, let's prophesy to each other. Or we think it's just personal prophecy. And my goodness, it's like everybody and their mother just wants to line a bunch of people up and prophesy to them on a personal level. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily wrong in and of itself, but my goodness, there's more to prophecy than that. There's more to the prophetic than just that. And we got a lot of people trying to fit that mold. Just like a lot of us, we tend to read the Bible the way it's been preached to us, we also tend to try to minister the way we've been ministered to. We tend to try to answer the call the way it's been answered around us. And because it's become so narrow, everybody and their mother who's a prophet just about tries to be the same kind of prophet. They're trying to prophesy to people on a personal level. Maybe that's your call. Maybe that's part of your call. But most of the time, it goes far beyond that. That being prophetic doesn't necessarily mean that God called you to spend your whole life ministering prophetically to people only on a personal level. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing in and of itself, but a lot of us have reduced prophetic ministry to only that. And there's reason for it. A lot of these prophets aren't stupid. They know that that's a way to attract people. My goodness, if only reason my Facebook group has the number of people it has in it, it's still pretty small. We only get about 2,500 people in it. If they thought they were never ever going to get another prophetic word out of me ever again, most of them would leave. Because this is human nature. We want what we want. And a lot of people have gotten addicted to that. And quite frankly, the prophets tend to feed that addiction. Because it's what gets them paid. Whether it's a $50 seed, $100 seed, $500 seed, whatever they're charging these days for a prophetic word. Because the truth is, nobody's going to pay you to prophesy over a nation. Nobody's going to pay you to prophesy over a city. But anyhow, I digress. Just because you're prophetic doesn't mean you're called to minister simply on a personal level. And we also have to understand that being a prophet is more than just prophesying. That's not the only function. That is not the prophecy. The prophetic is not an end. It is a means. It's a means of achieving the end of the will of God. Just like a miracle is not, it's not the end. That is a means of God glorifying Himself, of God healing, or whatever it is the person needs. Sometimes God will meet their need miraculously. But that wasn't the goal. The goal is the relationship between God and man. Just like the crucifixion wasn't the end, it was a means. It was a means of God reconciling people to Himself. Now, how do we know this? How do we know that and I personally believe most of the time the prophetic is more of a tool and a weapon meant to equip you for an assignment that is much more than just personal prophecy. Now, how do we know that? You look at Abraham, first person in the Bible to be called a prophet. He spent most of his time as a businessman. Most of Abraham's day was occupied with dealing with his servants, dealing with his flocks and his herds, because he had apparently thousands of sheep and all that other stuff, and he had people taking care of the sheep, but he still had to deal with the business end of it. He's what we would call a commodities investor. Because what do you do with sheep? You shear them, you take the wool, and you sell the wool. And when the time comes, you sell the mutton. Joseph was a prophet. But Joseph's day-to-day life was running an empire. We're going to say the same thing for Daniel. Daniel wasn't running around saying, okay, it's time for another prophecy line. Get your offering. No. Daniel spent his day running an empire. He had 144 different governors under him. This is one of the largest empires ever in world history. You think he had time to be running around prophesying to everybody? No. And he's recognized as one of the greatest prophets ever. Oh man, David was a prophet. Now sure, he wrote a lot of the Psalms. I think about 70 of the Psalms are believed to have been composed by David. But most of David's career, and we don't see anywhere where David was prophesying to people on a personal level. Maybe he did. We don't know. But as far as what the biblical record shows us, and what we know just from common sense, he was a military commander and then he was the king. He didn't have time to be prophesying to everybody. Got a kingdom to run. You look at Paul. Paul's recognized as a prophet. He's named as a prophet in Acts 13. And I'm sure he prophesied to people. But that wasn't his major assignment. Paul's career, his assignment, his kingdom mission was establishing the church. He wrote about a third of the New Testament. He helped to establish the key doctrines on which the church is founded and according to which the church is supposed to be run. That was his assignment, not being a prophet. Not being a prophet was ancillary to that. It was a supporting gift. It supported his function. It was part of his function, but it is not the end. It is not it's not the major focus. Now, if you're called as a prophet and you find yourself, you're not moving forward, and I see this with a lot of people, all these prophets and all these, especially on Facebook, my goodness, how many Facebook prophecy groups are there? Everybody wants to practice prophesying to each other. Has it occurred to you that that's not what you're supposed to be doing? Have you considered the possibility, the reason why you haven't moved forward, why you've made no progress, why you still don't have the ministry you think God has called you to, is that you're wasting your time trying to be something you're not. Oh, but I'm prophesying to people. If God didn't direct you to prophesy to them, you're wasting your time and his. Most of those people don't need a prophetic word. They get 40 prophecies a week and still won't do anything. They get 50 prophecies a week, still won't get off their butt and go do something for the kingdom. Still don't want to fast, still don't want to pray, still don't want to read their word. Still don't want to pray. It's like folks that want revival but don't want to repent. You know, a lot of these folks, sometimes if I seem disgusted, it's because I am. It's like these people in bodybuilding. They get there's this chemical called synthol. It's petroleum based, and they inject it into their muscles to make their muscles bigger. They basically fill their muscles with this fluid. One of the side effects is that it can actually poison you, and then your muscle starts to harden and becomes useless, and they gotta cut out the muscle that was damaged. I think some people have actually lost an arm over it because they wanted to look like they had these huge biceps. They had no power. They had no strength. He had medium-sized arms, and now he's got huge arms because of the synthol, but he's got no power. We're looking for a shortcut, and the shortcut is always toxic. The shortcut will always, you might lose an arm over it. This may seem harsh, but if you receive this is actually a good thing. Because it means you don't have to spend your life wandering around the mountain. You don't have to spend your life misdirected and confused. You don't have to spend your life trying to be somebody you're not. Because you may not be called to minister to people on a personal level. God might have called you to prophesy to nations. God might have called you to business. God might have called you to government. And you're supposed to function in government. And your prophetic gift is supposed to bring you guidance for what to do. God might have called you to be governor of Alabama. And he's going to show you in dreams and visions the decisions you need to make to govern that state properly, to govern it well. He might give you revelation on how to balance the budget, how to eliminate the corrupt officials, all that other stuff. Has it ever occurred to you might have an assignment like that? That maybe your assignment isn't stand up in front of a church and line everybody up. All right, everybody, get out your $50, let's prophesy. There's so much more to the prophetic. Most of the greatest prophets in Scripture didn't run around prophesying to everybody. That wasn't their job. The prophetic is a tool. In some cases, it's a weapon. But it's part of your equipment. It isn't your call. It's the equipment for your calling. Now, some people say, well, I'm called to be a prophet. Maybe you are. But even then, that doesn't necessarily mean your prophetic career is intended to be comprised entirely of just prophesying to people on a personal level. Because we don't see that in David's life. We don't see that for Isaiah or Elijah or Elisha. We don't see it for Moses. Goodness, Moses' career, he was managing several million people. I'm sure he spent more time dealing with them than he did prophesying to people. We can assume he probably prophesied to a lot of people, but we don't know that for sure. What we do know for sure is he was putting in so much time and effort and energy into governing people that God told him to anoint 70 other people to help take the load. Which tells you it was enough work for 70 other people in addition to Moses. Maybe God's called you to be a judge. Maybe God has called you to set up a mediation company where you settle disputes for people. They don't got to know you're a prophet. Why is it everybody's a prophet wants the whole world to know? I'm a prophet, I'm a prophet. Maybe it's not for them to know. Maybe you're just supposed to use your gift, know what the truth is, and make decisions accordingly. Never occurs to us. Consider the possibility today that there is more to the prophetic call than what you've been taught or what you've perceived or what you've seen in church. God did not call you to be somebody else. And you're wasting your time trying. I dare you today to start seeking God for what is my purpose? What is my call? What is my gift intended for? Yay, great, you got a gift, but what's it for? How are you supposed to use it? What are you supposed to use it for? Because most of us just assume we're supposed to prophesy to people. And that the more we prophesy, the more of a prophet we are. That's not true. Hey there, Rosetta Pratt. You have to ask yourself the question, is there a specific role that my gift is intended to support? Is there more to my assignment than just personal ministry? Who am I called to? Where am I called to? Why did God call me as a prophet? We can't answer those questions, and we want to go with the nations. Seems kind of silly, doesn't it? Yeah, some prophets are like undercover police officers. The mantle is invisible, but they have authority. Yeah. But everybody wants to flash their badge. So consider the possibility today, folks, that there's more to it. That there are greater possibilities. Some people will actually take this message as something negative or something bad. No, this is a good thing. Stop living in confusion. Stop trying to live somebody else's life. Stop trying to be like the prophet you saw in church. It's time to be the prophet God called you to be. And you'll find that your prophetic flow will be a lot better. The easiest place to flow in is in the will of God. That's why so many of us are lost and without real purpose, without real direction. Because we've been deceived into thinking this is what prophecy is supposed to look like. This is what a prophet is supposed to look like. This, and so this is what I got to do, and I got to do it that way. No, that's not necessarily true. Who knows? God might have you open a private detective business, and you're supposed to function as a prophet there, as a private investigator. Just a possibility. I'm not saying go and do that of your own accord. You gotta do what God calls you to do. But the truth is, a lot of us are just doing whatever we've seen before us, and we assume that that's what God called us to. We got a whole lot of assumptions being made. Just because you're a prophet doesn't mean you're called to be that kind of prophet. You're not called to be the kind of prophet I am. I'm not called to be the kind of prophet you are. And that's okay. And some of us, we do all this imitating and emulating. Some of it, because we don't know better, is what we've been taught. But then some of us, we think that's our path to success, or whatever we think is success. You don't need to be them. God has a particular destiny designed for you, and He designed you for it. I can't fulfill your call. I could try, and I might look stupid doing it. Or maybe I won't look stupid, but it won't be the will of God. God gave you an assignment no one else is designed for. Do you think it would make sense to find out what that is? I hope this was useful. I hope it was helpful. If it was, feel free to share it. Meanwhile, folks, God bless you, and God keep you.